The United States should increase its use of nuclear energy for commercial energy production. Nuclear energy is a form by which electricity is created. A sustained nuclear reaction's energy is absorbed and turned into usable electricity. Commercial energy production is in reference to creation of energy or the electricity for the commercial or public consumption of that energy or electricity. Now, I affirm this position. Today, we're going to talk about the negative impact of alternative energy acquisition on the environment, the shorter lives of alternative sustainable sources for energy, and the control that the alternatives have over the inclusion of nuclear power. Now, there are several different types of allocation of energy. Some of them have been known to be very toxic. For example, coal burning and natural gas burning hurts the environment significantly. Now, to give you an idea, 63% of the U.S. Energy consumption is from coal and gas burn. Now, that's from the Energy Information Administration in 2020. Now, from those, there are two forms of pollution. One is the allocation of the resource. So, for example, with coal, they stick dynamite into the hills and they blow it up. Now, all that dust and dirt gets into waterways. It'll occlude the waterways, and in turn, it will alter the ecosystems and mess up nature. Now, the second type of pollution would be the chemical-based pollution, which is like putting off gases like sulfur dioxide, nitrogen dioxide, and carbon dioxide, all of which can cause health issues, smog, and acid rain. None of those are beneficial in my mind. Now, Energy Information Administration brought that to view in 2020. Now, for my next point, it takes way longer to use up the resources involved with nuclear energy, whereas the usability of alternatives is way shorter. Now, for example, a nuclear power plant can operate at a minimum 40 years. It can technically easily run for another 40 years and thereon. Only limitation is maintenance on the cooling systems. Now, but for example, solar panels, they can only run 25 to 30 years. And then if you think about the hundreds of thousands of panels all throughout the country, eventually will hit that point where their output drops drastically and they need to be replaced. Now, for all those panels, we're going to have to dispose of their internal components properly, but those are very toxic. Some of those toxic chemicals are cadmium telluride, copper indium selenide, hexafluorothane, lead, polyvinyl fluoride, and that's only just a small fraction of the toxic chemicals within those solar panels. That's from a Wertz Fee article in 2019. Now, it's honestly a shame that we have utilized this to such a degree when there is a way less harmful alternative, such as nuclear power. Now, the inherency behind this is a structural issue. Other energy sources have way too much power economically. Now, the fossil fuel industry made $181 billion in 2018 in revenue. That's from the Garside article in 2020. Now, so a combination of the states slightly liberalizing the market laws with the lowering of fossil fuel prices practically takes away any opportunity for the alternative sources of energy to enter the market, such as nuclear power, because it is a private market. That's from the World Nuclear in 2020. Now, there is a solution to this. I believe that the agency that should oversee this would be the FERC or the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission. They already oversee all the safety regulations for nuclear power plants, but this would just add on to that. Now, the mandate would be that states will not limit the method of energy allocation and limits natural gas and coal burning facilities to be limited to use of only half a year. Now, the enforcement behind this would be that the states could be sued for fines upward of $5 million and the private companies upwards of $1 million due to the federal government. Now, the funding behind this agency is going to be the reallocation of the annual federal budget, and there are going to be two advantages from this solution. Now, nuclear power does not directly emit any toxic gases. Therefore, it will be seen as a very much cleaner energy source. Now, nuclear power also lasts for a longer duration than all other sustainable alternatives that will mitigate the need for a relatively common replacement.